What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brees, and you're now tuned into the hottest platform for all the creatives, entrepreneurs, business professionals, and fitness coaches around New York City, or in this case, New York, because today we got a special guest with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
What is going on, everybody? Name is Nick Drivas, Long Island, New York, but I was born in Queens originally, but I'm here. I'm excited just here in LIC, Long Island City, and I'm just ready to drop some fire, tell my story, and just have a great time today. That's it. Let's get it.
What part of Queens you from?
I grew up in Bayside, Queens.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So it's not far at all.
Yeah, not far at all.
Yeah, so backstory to how we met. We actually met through Instagram, so, you know, a lot of people, they tend to think most of my guests are like personal friends or whatnot, but at the same time, half the guests that I introduce you to are people that I literally meet through networking events, social media, or just like, you know, through just networking with someone else, and they'll say, hey, I have somebody that's interested. So, you know, it just goes to show you the way we're growing this platform. You know, it started off as just for the platform for New York City, then it became a state-to-state thing, then it became people from out the country coming in and whatnot. So we're growing. And, you know, Nick, it's definitely a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, so just run everybody just like, you know, your story in terms of what got you started with like your career and whatnot.
So it all goes back when I was 12 years old. I was a porn addict for 10 plus years, and it was just destroying my life. I felt so worthless, and it all started because I was down in my basement. I didn't have much of a social life. I was very antisocial growing up, especially in high school, and I was living with my parents and my grandmother at the time, and my grandmother was very sick, like throat cancer, from smoking and drinking too much. And it just led me down this rabbit hole of just watching porn at a very young age. And that's all I wanted to do. It was getting so bad to the extent that I just wanted to commit suicide. It was getting so bad where I just felt just worthless. I didn't want to be here anymore. And just throughout high school, even talking to women, just really just not being who I authentically was deep down as of today. And I tried doing any sort of, you know, career, or like basketball was my main thing throughout high school. I was trying to go to the NBA.
Yeah, me too.
And this is where I really started to develop a strong work ethic, discipline, habits, just practicing every day in the driveway. So I finally found some purpose in something. But the problem was that I was still attached to the porn. And I would just run to the bathroom 2-3 times a day and just go like this. And I never even made the school team, but I would work every single day in that driveway. Like Kyrie Irving, he has that technique where he puts the handbags over the basketball, like the shopping bags, to like develop the drills. Yeah, like I did every nook and cranny, every single day, tennis ball, everything, you name it. But I never even made the school team. And even the coach that was there for varsity, he said, like, Nick is the hardest worker I've ever seen. And he still didn't pick me. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is that not work? Like nothing's working. And I eventually was like, all right, I'm gonna do track. I got a scholarship. I said, I don't wanna do this. So I go off to college. I do one semester. I'm like, I don't wanna do this either. I got this dark cloud over my head. I'm still watching porn like every single day. I'm so lost in life, so confused. I don't know. I got no friends. Like people coming in and out of my life, a lot of fakes, you name it. And I'm just going through it. So I drop out. It was like $100, by the way, to drop all my classes. And I was like, wow, people pay like thousands. Trophy, right? And yeah, like it was just like, wow, I paid just this. And now I'm going to go like, just go level up. So now I start posting online. I was shooting music videos too around New York City with the independent contractor. So I've been around. Like people think, oh, you're only 23. Like you haven't been through life. I'm like, bro, like, where have you been? Like, you're 45 and you haven't done anything with your life. Like, I've been around. So I was doing that, making some money off of that, and then I started posting online. Now, at this time, I was not the way that I look now, with some tats coming in, jacked, like the confidence, all these things. I was still a scrawny kid. So I was really scrawny growing up. Again, no confidence, still lost. But I started posting just workouts. And I'm just like, I look back now and I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm like, why were you doing that? Because I was like, you got to have the results first for people to even listen. Like, would you listen to you? Like me, I look in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that I would listen to. So at this point, I'm like 20, 21, and I'm still lost. I'm still feeling worthless on the inside, but I'm still pushing. I'm posting content. Now this is around like COVID. So it's like 8 posts a day in my backyard, just workouts. And I'm ripped at this point, but I'm super skinny. So I blow up on TikTok because this is when TikTok was really popping. Everyone was downloading it. And I get like 700,000 followers. And it was finally a time when I was off the porn completely. I was like 200 days clean since I was like 12 years old. And I finally found some purpose. It's always purpose over pleasure. And that's what I kept seeking. I was keep seeking just pleasure after pleasure, numbing myself to what I was trying to even accomplish, which was so great that even in the first place, I just knew I wasn't even gonna be able to do it because I had all these vices in the way. So now I blew up, but the thing is that 700,000 was not 700,000 real people. It was like bots. It was just fake people, like not people really engaged in my content. And I'm not running the business that I'm running today at this point, but I started selling like $30, $40 just little workout plans. It was kind of hitting, kind of not. I had leads, like 99 plus requests in my DMs of people asking me for stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm at the point where people are asking me now, how do I get abs? How do I do this? How do I eat better? And I'm like, I could start to do something with this. So, but I just didn't know how to close them or anything, like through the DM or on a sales call or anything of that extent. So, and the porn comes back because I made like maybe like $1,000 or $2,000 for a month. And I was like, oh yes, I'm killing it. But I got so comfortable for like another year. I get so like just worthless that all those, that dark cloud really comes back now. And now I got a tattoo on my wrist right here, like in the camera, July 27, 2022. This is where it all changed for Nick Drivas. So it's round 2. Now I'm really back on the porn again. You know, I'm trying to figure it out. I made a couple of sales, like starting my business. I invested into a couple of mentors, sales, marketing, start taking sales calls. I'm getting so pissed off. Nothing's working. I'm round 2 of the day, jerking it. And I'm just like when I finished, I was like, what am I doing with my life still? Like, I was on the verge. Like, here's where I was really just wanting to commit suicide at this point. I was like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm just like, make or break myself, like do or die. So I invested into a mentor. He told me and showed me this program that now I teach to others. So I had to heal myself. Then I can go and heal others. Like, that's how all this works. So it was a non-negotiable daily process. And since this date, I've just been repeating that over and over. And now my life is just leveling up like crazy. I just got a new whip from my like just terrible shit box that I've had since high school. And now I got like a new luxury Acura car. Like it's dope.
What
you know,
model?
What happened?
What model?
It's a Acura ILX 2021.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I just
you
got
know
a
what I'm
TLX
saying?
too.
Like just leveling up, like hit a 10K plus month in my business. I think it rolled over to like 13K. I was dead broke. I had $3,000 on this date to my name. Like, I had nothing else in my bank account. That $3,000 was to that mentor. And then I just did not like question him or anything. I just listened to every little word that came out of his mouth, and I just kept applying it. So after that day, I just started going, and then everything just started to go up. I went from literally, there was like $3,000 to my name. And then I hit that 10K plus month in September of this last year. And then it just kept going. It just kept going. And now I just started working with my uncle on top of that as well. Like it was like 0, then it was 10K in 2022, 23. Yeah, around there. And then 20K last year. Now I'm on track to making over 60K plus my business on top of that. So we're almost at 6 figures already in the span of not even a year and a half. Like, I don't even know. Do the math. You know what I'm saying? Since this date, you know? So it's like constantly all these levels that I just keep going because I'm just not on the vices. I'm not doing any of that. Like, I'm so extreme and so rare on purpose because of what I see for Nick Drivas. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah, that's definitely beautiful. Who's your mentor, by the way? You gonna give him a shout out?
Yeah, definitely. Wes Watson. That's my guy. Like, that's the person that's who I admire in all ways. So that's the dude that just helped me to get out of the gutter, that depression, that anxiety ridden, like all those things. Like, he sums all my problems and he's like, dude, they're not even that big. Like, they're the most common things that you're going through. You know, like, it's not something that's so extreme, like, you know, and that clicked with me and it made such a connection with me that I was like, it's really not. And then I was like, the best thing was just to work on myself. And then everything just started to change around me, my whole world. Now I'm on here with you on this podcast. When a man is right, his world is going to be right. So I just wasn't in the right place before this date. Ever since then, I've just been right all around. Things just come in naturally. Like it just flows. Like right now on this podcast, I'm just in flow state. Like I'm free right now. You know, it's just dope. Like definitely him. He's the guy that definitely helped me, and it's what helped me save my life, and then to also save and go help others as well with what I do now.
Yeah, that's actually something I see a lot, especially when it comes to wealth building or even fitness. Like the idea of shifting your mindset and having like more discipline and like you said, just being more free flowing in terms of just kind of letting things kind of happen and kind of just running with it. Because I feel like, especially entrepreneurship, it's very common that you're going to be in uncomfortable situations. You're already uncomfortable because you don't know if you're going to make money tomorrow or not. It's not guaranteed. You got to go out and do the work. And that's actually me as somebody that's been in like network marketing companies before, something that the leaders always express. They always would say, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to understand, like, you know, this business is only what you're going to make it. It's not like you're just going to do the bare minimum and get, you know, a wage check just for showing up. So I could definitely say I agree with you there with what you were saying about complacency and stuff like that. I guess my first question there would be, if you could emphasize like why it's good to not be complacent.
It's the enemy. It's literally the enemy. Like if you're so complacent, like I'm just never satisfied. Like that's just me. And that's one of the 3 traits of a hyper successful person, is just never being satisfied with where you're at. So if I ever find myself where I'm just like so complacent, I'm just like going through the motions, that was me for years. Like, especially before this date, like just over and over again, same thing every single day. I just knew there had to be a change within myself. So I just light fires under my ass. Like if I have too much money in my bank account, dude, I go and spend it. Like I'm like, oh man, like I start to get comfortable, and then I'm like, yeah, I can like get away with this, and then I'm like, nope, no, you can't, Nick. Like it's just that extreme level of accountability too within myself, you know. So then I'll just go pay for something mad expensive, and then I'm like, all right, we're gonna go make some sales. We're gonna go do this. We're gonna go help this person to, you know what I'm saying? And then it just leads to the next thing, you know, as well. So I'm like, oh, now I'm not even complacent anymore. Now I'm in a whole different vibration or a different frequency than I was when I was in that complacent state. Because that's all it is. You're just in a low state when you are complacent. Negative self-talk comes in. Like my self-talk is just crazy. Like I just know I'm the best. You know, that's also another trait of a hyper successful person. Just knowing you're the best compared to everybody else. But that doesn't mean, though, I want to clarify that, hey, you're up here and this person is down here, and you can never get to that person's level. That's just that self-belief within self. Like nobody can walk over me. Nobody can just try to take something specifically away from me, because that was me for years, is that people just used to walk all over me, take advantage of me, use me for money, just rides because I was the only one with the car, like music videos as well, like them not paying. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Like, man, like get your bread up, man. Like that is sad. If you can't pay, it was like $350 I was shooting the music video for. You can't pay $350 on time. Like that's a bad habit. You should get that like in check, you know, like certain things like that. So
yeah, it's actually funny because that was actually something I was speaking about yesterday on one of my other episodes, where it's like people would always try to short people, but it's more of an ego thing as opposed to an I don't have it thing, where they're like, well, I'm not paying you because, like you said, let's say you said $350. Let's say one of the biggest videographers in New York is also charging $350. You're like, oh well, I'd rather just go pay that person. That's fine, but at that point, you're looking at more as an ego influence type of thing as opposed to a service thing. You might have a way better camera and way better editing skills than whoever so and so is. It's just you didn't get picked up yet because, you know, like you said, you just started getting into it. So it's the same thing I see with this podcast too, where it's like, actually, I think it was Ross. I think it was you I was talking to about that. Where we had 2 no-shows yesterday actually, and we had a no-show for today's shoot too. And I was just saying, like, you know, for those guys, like there's always gonna be skepticism in terms of, well, there's gonna be skepticism on both sides. That's why I personally go out and do my research on people before, like, I meet them in person. Of course, that's how I knew some about your story. Of course, I told you I was watching your YouTube channel, and with some people, it's like you could kind of feel what the skepticism is, where it's like sometimes maybe they might not seem authentic from how they promote their business, and they might also think, this being like a small upcoming platform, it probably isn't worth the bang for their buck, because it's like, well, I don't know how far this guy might take it, but it's like, hey, if you don't know how far I might take it, but when I do make it far, that's when you're going to try to spin the block and try to come back. It's going to be too late for that. And I feel like, yeah, I could definitely say I relate to you on that point with the music videos and whatnot, because trust me, this platform is the same way, bro. We see it all the time.
It's crazy. Like, even with what I do now with the coaching, like, some people, they're in my DM, they'll be like, yeah, I'm ready to make the change, Nick. Like, I sell through the DM. I used to do the sales calls. I don't do that anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's just, on my head. I'm like, goddamn, just like smash my head in this mic at this point. I'm just like, I'm done with that. So like, I just sell through the DM now, and I get people all the time. Again, they're like, yo, I want to do this. I'm going to pay for the coaching. And then I'm like, yeah, bro, let's get it. Like, like you're talking, man. Like, back up your word. And then I send the link, and then ghost on scene, and then like, I'm just like, oh my God, you're not ready. Like you said, like, back up your word. So like, that's one of the main things with Nick Drivas. Like, I look at myself is, okay, if I'm going to make a payment or anything, like be the client you want to attract, So that's what I look for. Because whatever you give into this life, you're going to get an exchange for, or a return. So like, even for this, like, boom, sent it, done. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. Like, mad people are just like talking out here too. And I'm like talk is very, very cheap, and it's very loud. But like, the action, that's a whole different, like, just conversation in of itself, where a lot of people are just in like just la la land. And I'm like, oh my God, if I was like that guy, like, because then I look at his profile, and like, he can't even fit his face in it. Like, do you think if you have these types of habits, this talk, all of these things, you really think, and you're not backing it up, like, you're really going to achieve those results that you just told me about? No, bro. Like, you have to back it up. Like, I work with guys that are just like super committed to, like, just because that's how I was. When I went to my coach, like, again, I just did not really question. If I did have a question, yes, I would ask, but like, it wasn't where I was so hesitant, because hesitation blocks manifestation. So I was just, boom, just manifesting every single day a new Nick, because I wasn't hesitating. I was just straight action, just all offense, where it's just so nasty and so disgusting, where people are like, how did you do this so fast? Like, how do you just keep leveling up? Like, that's where people they're so stuck in their old ways. They think like, oh, maybe it does work, maybe it doesn't. Do I get a guarantee too? I'll get. And I'm like, there is no guarantee. Like, you have to listen to me, because I have the results. I have people transforming their lives. You see it on my page. Like, go to my Instagram. It's on there. Like, the before and afters, because they're just doing the work. And that's what it comes down to. And a lot of people, again, they're just like how you asked, like, very complacent. Like, that's what it is. Like, just get out of your comfort zone. Like, I like being so uncomfortable on purpose, because if I get too comfortable, I know I'm not leveling up. And in my head, I'm like, damn, that's a problem. But with that guy that comes through my DM just talking, he doesn't see that as a problem. So I'm like, just keep watching my content then, at that point. Like,
yeah, you gotta watch the journey.
That's what I'm saying. And like, get on the same wavelength. Like, it shouldn't just be like, I get this all the time. It's like, well, what should I be eating properly? And I'm like, bro, that's not all of it. Like, that's one little section. You need all the pieces of the puzzle to make this all work, to be the best version of yourself all around. Because if you just get the physique, how are you going to be able to maintain it and sustain it for the rest of your life if you don't have solid disciplined habits that can have that foundation and back everything up for the rest of your life? Because what, you want a six-pack for your wedding that's coming up in the next couple of weeks? What happens after the wedding? You're gonna go back to the pizza and the burgers? Like, you just did that for really no reason if you think about it. Like, don't you want this for the rest of your life? So you keep having good experiences like how it was for your wedding when you felt your best. Like this is all about feeling and just like emotion and how you feel about you, where everything is just connected. Because that's what I teach is mind, body, soul connection. It's not just some fitness coaching about dropping weight and some diet I give to you. Like a lot of people get that very confused on my coming through my DM, and I'm just like, no. Like we're doing a life change, like, and I call it personal development, not life coaching, because I'm only 23, and a lot of people like that are older, especially, and they're just like, well, what do you know at 23? And then I'm like, well, one, I know more than you, definitely, and then with what I've been through, and then two, on top of that, I just develop people into their 10.0 selves, I call it. So right now I'm operating my 10.0 self, and that's what I ask myself every single day. And then that's what I go and teach to other people too, you know?
Yeah, because I would say, well, what do you know at 23? Well, why are you coming to me as a 23-year-old if you feel like you know more than me?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, and it's like, for those people too, don't you want to feel like you're 23 again, if anything? You know, what was it like? Didn't you feel your best at 23 when you just felt unstoppable and invincible, like just unbreakable is the main thing I emphasize too, because that's how it is. You're unbreakable in all areas. There's nothing that can come your way that is gonna tear you down or make you just feel less about yourself. Like if anything, turn the intensity up, turn the energy up, you know? Like, oh, tone it down. When somebody tells me that, I'm like, nah. Like I'm gonna give the best me, because if I don't, then I'm gonna feel like inauthentic. And authenticity is your superpower, especially in 2024.
Definitely, because you could definitely read it out. You know who could read it out the most? Little kids. Like middle school, elementary. Because even the other day, I did a career day on Wednesday, I believe. And these kids, like they were reading, like they could tell who was like, you know, overstretching certain things, like in terms of like, let's say certain people like, you know, dragging like what they, like let's just say a simple career, right? Okay, a doctor, right? Okay, I saved lives. But then there's probably, I'm making this up, but there was probably like a doctor or two that was probably like, I saved lives, but then, you know, they try to get into detail and make it seem like that life-saving process was way more than what it is. And the whole time, all they did was just give a prescription, right? And it's like these kids are just like reading through these doctors, like just like, okay, so what? My parents give me the same medicine at home, but you know, like it's like they like the kids these days. They're a lot of them are very mean too. A lot of them are very mean. I don't know if it's just this generation of parenting, but these kids are just so like aggressive and like so like I would say mean to where it's like if they don't see the authenticity to you, they're just like, yeah, I'm not listening to you. Like they smell the BS before.
Well, that's what it is like most people, they're not aligned fully, or they're not being their true authentic self. So they're inauthentic to the extent they're putting out that energy at the end of the day to their kids. The kid doesn't care. That's what it is. Like that's the beauty about just kids overall. They don't care at all about
they
like,
don't know better either. So
exactly. But like to a certain extent, that's a good thing, because as you get older, society tells you like, well, you got to act like this. You got to do this. And it's like, okay, so if I do that, I'll end up like you then. Like, that's what I ask myself. But kids, obviously that's probably definitely 99.99%. They're not thinking that, you know, the way that I just expressed, but like, they just don't care because there's not that much responsibilities, of course, on their end and whatnot, but they just don't care at the end of the day. They just are expressing their true selves, because there's not a care in the world with them compared to the parents, and because of the experiences that they've been through for years and definitely in their careers, you know? So I feel like even as you get older, depending upon the type of profession, like entrepreneurs, definitely, like they don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, I've come across some, and like some, I'll be honest, like even in the coaching industry, dude, there's some weird guys. I'm not mentioning names, but like they are just weird, like very introverted. I'm not. I'm very out there. But some guys are just weird, you know. But it's like it's based off experience. I have had a lot of experience so far at 23, but I've always been like that too. So I was like, I'm not gonna change that to go fit in corporate America or anything of that sort. like as an entrepreneur too, like even just like addicts in general, like porn, drugs, alcohol, like those are the best entrepreneurs too, because they're psycho, like they're psychotic when they want to go and get that drug. Like somebody who's a drug addict, if they want to go and get crack, they will do anything to go and get that crack. They will call up their boy and get their deal, like anything to make it work.
Mike always uses that example. He always says, I've never seen a crackhead not have enough money for crack.
Exactly.
They're going to find it one way or another.
That's what I'm saying. Like they'll go to the end of the work, like the root of the Earth's core to go and get that crack because they need it. It's the same thing. So like with me, like people get this like messed up too. They're like, well, porn is different compared to like drugs and alcohol. It's not really a vice, or you can't really get addicted. I'm like, well, maybe it's not for you, but for me, that was my main thing. But then the guy like drinks alcohol and like is a drug addict on top of that. So it's like they're just finding a weakness for their way out or an excuse, right? So, but it's the same thing. I was the same way. I just made it work along my path. And I was like, I went around the nooks and crannies, or like the maze to get to where I wanted to get to. Like that's what a lot of people are just misunderstanding, especially with my story. So I'm just gonna make that clear. Is like I still made it all work so far, and I just keep maneuvering. And that's just being an entrepreneur, even if you are an addict or have been or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter. Like that's how this game works. Otherwise, you're gonna get squashed like real quick. Like you have to have like a strong ass mindset as well.
Yeah, I definitely like the one thing that you said about results, because me being a trader as well, I feel like that was something that really like separated me from a lot of people, because of course you knew about like the Forex wave that was going on in the pandemic, and that's actually how I got into trading. So I went into that, seen the BS, went out, left like the company and all of that, and then I started doing my own thing. And even though I was doing my own thing, I was very vocal about it. I'm not even gonna say I was very vocal about it, to where I was calling everybody out on their BS, stop the cap, all these things. Everybody that knows me, they know. The audience, they know from all the guests I done had here that spoke about it, they know. And the one thing I always would highlight was the results. So it's like, yeah, there was a lot of lifestyle marketing and stuff like that. And of course, that's probably the easiest way to get people in 2024. But it also had to stem back to results, because people had to understand that, hey, we're all doing the same thing, but how come you're the only one with the lifestyle and not us? And when people started to see that, and when people started to hear what I had to say on it, that's when people start connecting the dots and saying, okay, this is cap, I'm getting out of here, right? And people start leaving the company and stuff like that. And then people start hitting me up, because it was one thing, it was like, hey, thank you, you definitely changed my mindset, my outlook and stuff like that. But also too, I was over here posting cash it was ignorant of me to do it, but I was here doing the cash withdrawals. I was, I was always posting, like, not even just like actual money, but like just the trade results itself. I'm posting my trading record. I'm posting like, like all the charts and stuff like that. And people are like, I gotta get like this guy. And then I guess it was a little bit of lifestyle marketing too, because I actually did end up buying my first car, and even my second car too. Like, I ended up doing those things, just having trading as a resource to those things and whatnot. Even during the pandemic, when everybody was lose their jobs and stuff like that, because some people didn't want to take the shot. I know I can't say that word on camera. I think it's like a YouTube thing about saying that V word, but I didn't. I personally didn't. I personally wasn't gonna take the shot myself. So it's like I had something that was making me money. So most people were getting furloughed from their jobs and stuff like that. They needed a way to make money. So who better to go to than the guy with the results, right? So I feel like for me, that's when, and I was doing it for free at the time too. So it's like I did it for free just to show people, give people a taste of what I could do, right? And then as soon as the clientele and the demand started going up, I said, yeah, I'm charging people. And then from there, it just became a thing where people just like, to this day, like, there's people who quit in like 2019, 2018. They're coming back today asking, hey, do you still teach people like how to trade, stuff like that? I personally don't, just because, I had my fair time, my fair share of time. And it was a lot of stress and whatnot to deal with all these people coming in and out. But Yeah, that's what it was. The results that really took off for me, and it really like opened doors for other people to start doing their things. Now it's people that's literally doing what I was doing back then, and now I'm happy for them. I see the success in what they're doing, so it's always gonna be results driven.
That's what it is. It's like I use this a lot, you
Mhm.
know, and it's like I look at a lot of these authors even, and they're talking about, you know, either personal development, law of the universes, manifestation,
Attraction,
yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
all that stuff, right? And then I look at the back of the book, and then he's not even in the best shape of his life, but he's talking about this stuff. And I'm like, is that somebody that I admire though in all ways? Is the guy really it? So like, let's just use personal development as an example,
Mhm.
like working on your health. If it was a book about health and you turn the back of it and it's a fat guy who's 300 pounds talking about health, I'm like, that's not the guy that I want to even read the book about, to be honest. I want to look at the back of the book and I want to be like, dude, this guy is ripped. This guy, like, I want to go to this guy because he actually has a physical result and can back up the word of what he's talking about in the physical book that I'm reading about.
Mhm.
So then I know that one, I'm not wasting my time because I've been around a lot of people, especially shooting music videos with that contractor. By the way, he was also a mentor of mine, but he was like full of just talking out his ass. A lot of the coaches that I even invested in, I've spent $30,000 plus on personal development in myself, along business programs, marketing, all this stuff. And some of these coaches, they're also just talking out their ass. So I don't want to waste any time. So I go to the top. I work with the top guys. So again, this is where I'm coming at. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste just money at the end of the day on that stuff. And I just want to go to the best, right? So again, I look at the back of the book, the guy's jacked. That's who I want to be like.
Mhm.
So I'm going to listen to that guy. This all goes back to just being the person and admiring just everything about that person and become that person. You know, like I'm not going to waste my time on just somebody just talking about some stuff of like a physical result or anything of that sort, to be honest. And then I look at the back and it's like, dude, he's not really it.
Mhm.
You know, like because I don't want to waste the time. Like, and also I don't have that type of time. And people may take that, oh, he's an asshole. It's like, no. I'm like, with the business that I run, like with the new career I just started, social media management with our family business on top of that. Plus, I make music. So I'm doing 3 things at once. Do you think I'm going to go spend 15, 20, 30 bucks on a book and I look at the back and the dude's like talking about health and he's like fat, you know? I'm like, no. Like I'm going to go to the guy that's like Jack. And with me too, I see a guy that's like ripped with tats. Like that's what I see for myself. Somebody else may take this and be like, that's not me. Cool. That's totally fine. Go live your life. I am going to live mine. And then off of the person that I am, I'll attract, and which I have been over this past year and a half, just the right people that are meant to be in my life specifically, as everyone else should. I'm not forcing down anybody's throat to live a certain lifestyle or anything, but like if the message that I'm saying is resonating with you, run with it. If it's not, I could give 2 shits. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm so connected, mind, body, and soul, with just me, myself, and I, that I don't need, you know, anybody's validation, approval, or anything of that sort. Like I'm totally 100% satisfied in my own skin. So when people say, I got to go find myself and I got to go take this trip, like all the answers come from within. It's not going to be that trip to Greece or to Italy to go find yourself, especially in my age gap. Like a lot of these young people, they go and take a year off college and they go travel. I'm like, that's not going to do anything really. Yeah, I'll get you some experience, but like, no, it comes from the work. It comes from the habits. It comes from working on yourself. You get in such a high frequency state. You go and hit that workout. You're in that flow state, like that peak physical performance right then and there in that workout. And you just have massive clarity. And then you know the exact next steps that you have to do. You see the life unfolding. You see the character that you're building in this process at your 10.0 self. Like that's what I see. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep making that individual. And I feel so, once again, I feel so free. Right. So when in that workout, the same thing, I feel so free. And I feel like I'm on top of the world. I don't need anything right now. If anything, I just need more of this high frequency mindset and just this feeling from inside within self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's actually a good thing too because I feel the same way. So I was reading a book called Atomic Habits, and
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah,
book,
yeah.
right? And a lot of things that were said in that book, I feel like were things that I personally had to look at and say, okay, I'm guilty here, right? Like even for me from like a fitness standpoint, like I remember like I was like when I had my growth spurts, like I kind of grew into my body, if that makes sense, because I was always like a chubby kid, but I was always the chubby kid that played like a bunch of sports. So you're like, well, what was going on there? And I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, I ate bad, not gonna lie. And it's like when I had my growth spurt, because I was like 5'7", like most of high school, and then I'd say like probably like my junior year, growth spurt, I was 6'1", now I'm 6'2", right? With that one extra inch. Um, and like I said, I grew into I was like very skinny, very lean and whatnot. And then for me personally, like the same with you, like you had like a story of like something happened to you and that kind of motivated you to do something.
Hmm.
Same in my case, right? Where I feel like for once in my life I felt like an outcast. I was always Mr. Popular and whatnot, but then it's like I got to college. It's like in the beginning stages, I feel like everybody kind of knew me for the wrong reasons, and it's not the wrong reason. Like it was just something terrible. Like I was a student athlete, of course, and whatnot. So it's like I was just probably the guy on the team that get picked on. He's the freshman that you gotta watch the uniform. They kind of just pick, but
Hmm.
I'm the favorite though. Like they show me love, but from everyone else's standpoint, they're like it's the guy that they just they bully him, and whatnot. And for me, like I said, I wasn't Mr. Popular anymore. I had to realize, this is not New York anymore. I was in a school where it's like, for me, I was like, my high school is very diverse and whatnot. I was like, I'm one of the few black guys on campus and stuff like that. So I felt kind of like out of place socially. And then the friends that I did have, everybody was leaving. Like my roommate at the time, my boy Tom, he ended up going back to Long Island himself. So it's like I literally had nobody around. And for me, I was actually watching this YouTuber because like I was this was back in the day, like in the high school days, like me and all my friends, everybody wanted to have waves. Like that was the hairstyle. Everybody wanted to have waves or whatnot. So I'm watching this YouTuber and he started transitioning into fitness. Because this guy, he was actually like he actually was like I think he was like 280 at the time or something like that. He cut down to 220. But this guy was like it was crazy because it's like I'm watching his story going back to the authenticity standpoint. I'm watching his story. I'm watching like everything that he's doing and stuff like that, like from vlogging to now fitness. And I'm watching him do the fitness videos. I'm watching literally him doing the fitness videos and him getting the results to now I'm gonna go do that. And I'm not gonna lie, it worked for me my sophomore junior year. I really start cutting down and whatnot. I start building muscle definition and whatnot, and I start seeing the performance there too. Just from the standpoint of I'm hitting harder, because I was playing rugby. I was tackling harder. I was running faster. I was scoring and stuff like that. Coach still had a little something against me, so I didn't really play too much. I'm not gonna lie, I was slacking off like in practice stuff like that, but still, it's like like I said, in practice scrimmages stuff like that. I'm here like overperforming. It's like people look at me like this is really him doing this. Like this is crazy. And I say all of that to say like it's really a mindset thing. It's really a
Hmm.
results thing. Like results and the mindset are the two things, and they go hand in hand. But those are the two things that's really gonna push and drive you to really take that next step and go the next level. Because even for me, like I'll admit it, the vices got to me. My
Hmm.
senior year, I started getting big headed again. I'm Mr. Popular on campus now. I had a house, we're throwing house parties and stuff like that. Had a girlfriend at the time. So it's like all the discipline that I had my junior, sophomore year to where I was like always in the gym. Or I was also a basketball player growing up. So it's like I was playing intramural basketball and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Now it's like it kind of got lazy. I'm in the dorm with my girlfriend most of the time. If I'm not with her, I was throwing parties, like I said, or I was going to parties. I'm going to the bar. I was drinking and stuff like that. Came back from college, first job. I'm thinking, life's gonna be great. I'm on this great trajectory. Every weekend, I'm out with my friends. We're out partying, going to the club, stuff like that. And I lost that mindset and I lost that discipline to where, you know, I mean, physique wise, I kind of let myself go there. And then just mindset wise, it's just like I was spending money on pointless stuff. And same with trading. Like my first few checks when like I was a trader, I was buying sneakers. I was going out on all these like trips. I mean the trips part. I guess some people might debate that wasn't I guess you could say a pointless expense, but still, like I was spending money in places I didn't have to. So where it's like when it was time for me to actually start investing, like time for me to fund my account or time for me to, you know, do things like buy crypto or the times that I actually was interested in buying properties, sometimes I couldn't do it. Well, the properties I couldn't do it at the time because I didn't have that money for it. When it came to like I said, just buying like cryptos here and there at a time where cryptos were very cheap, sometimes I couldn't do it because I done wasted my money going out partying and doing like bullshit like that. Well, excuse my language, but bullshit like that. So yeah, I definitely feel like we connect there because it's like hearing your story kind of reminds me of my story to an extent. Two different directions to an extent, but the same message there.
Right, that's what it is. Like mine, I feel is very unique because a lot of people, like especially men, I get a lot in my
Definitely, man.
DMs
Yep.
like, wow, like you really opened up and talked about your porn addiction. Like I get guys younger than me, older than me, like I'm talking like 40, 50-year-olds, and they're like, dude, I've had this porn addiction and just like, thank you for your message. Like it's something that is very hard for me and I struggle with to even try to talk to somebody and they could just connect and resonate with me because of what I'm putting out, you know? But again, yeah, the vices, the drink, the drug, porn, whatever it may be, it's all the same thing. And I feel like with me, my whole life, like I had a couple of girlfriends and whatnot, and I didn't really do the party scene. They all asked me, but I was like, nah. Like I would go and rather just watch porn by myself or just not do anything and go outside. I was very antisocial. So I was able in a certain way to cut out those distractions. And that's a part of my program now. It's a removal process. You're subtracting instead of adding a whole bunch. Because if you add a whole bunch of things real quick, you're not going to be able to sustain it or maintain it because you don't have a solid foundation yet. So like I subtract everything. And I feel like to a certain extent, even though I was watching porn like 2-3 times a day, I was subtracting because like how you said, you had a girlfriend on top of it, like, you know, running the house parties and all that. But my life was like kind of completely different where it was just like, okay, watch porn, go to school, fucking try to make a dope ass career out of myself. So it's like, mine is different in that regard, but it like still there was like vices and stuff involved that still made me go down to rock bottom or down the rails, you know? So it's different, but it also does have a lot of similarities as well because of the vices mainly. But like that's where, again, as I was saying before, a lot of people just get this so confused because it's not drinking a whole bunch of alcohol and being an alcoholic. And I'm just like, no. It's still the same thing. Like it's a vice. Like boredom leads to desires that lead to vices. So for me, I was so bored because I was just at grandma's house discovering on my little iPod Touch at the time and coming across porn. Like you don't want to run away from a vice, run away from the life that you're trying to create by numbing it with a vice. Like if you had the perfect life, would you want to run away from it? Would you want to go and escape and go, you know, have a drink or smoke some weed or go watch porn? Man, I wouldn't. Not even to take a vacation. I'm like, I'm perfectly fine in my own skin with where I'm at. Like wherever I'm at. Like it doesn't, again, you don't need to go and travel because again, it's all from inside, you know? So yeah, again, we have similarities and differences with the story. And again, just a lot of people get that misunderstood. Like I've drank and smoked like a couple of times, but I just didn't get the same effects off of those vices specifically. When it was porn, I was like licking my lips kind of thing and just like, yeah, let's go ham. Like that was my thing. But a lot of people, it is that drink. It is that weed or it is that crack even, you know, all these crazy drugs out there. But, you know, a lot of people, they just don't understand because it's not exactly them to a certain extent. But yes, it can relate. But yeah, they're still, again, looking for that weakness.
Yeah, I feel like it's cliche to say, but the first step is always to accept it, right? People always say that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're in an era now where accepting things is the way to go. Like now it's like it's so often, I mean, it's so common to find people often like showing what their journey is, right? Fitness, definitely. How many people start there, hey, come join my fitness journey and watch me lose X amount of pounds in X amount of months and weeks and stuff like that. That's always been a thing. But now it's like you're starting to see people, hey, you know, come join. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of a social media thing where it's like people kind of want to be acknowledged, I guess, by the public. They want that acknowledgement where they're like, hey, you know, this is something that I probably would have kept a secret 10 years ago, but since social media is making it so cool for me to express myself and they're making it more acceptable for me to express myself, come and join me on my alcohol rehab and my cleanse and stuff like that. So where everybody now wants to be the voice. Everybody wants to be the leader. They want to speak up for people that, I mean, some people want to speak up for the sake that they could say they did it first. But there's people who really speak up, like for us as example, we want to speak up for the people out there who don't have that voice, who don't get a chance to not even just get on a platform like this, but have the courage to even speak to anybody publicly, whether it's in a classroom with kids or whether it's, you know, at a networking event in front of thousands of strangers, hundreds of strangers, or even 20 strangers. And, you know, just all these different type of events, even just going outside with a what you call it, what's that thing that people speak through, like the, not a mic, but the loud ones.
The road mic?
It has like a horn, like what do you call those?
The horn?
No, microphone,
Megaphone?
but
The
megaphone,
megaphone,
yeah,
right?
megaphone,
Yeah,
right?
thing. Mhm.
I could go outside and get on a megaphone and tell my story, and I'm sure people probably think I'm crazy, but
Yeah.
there might be that one person that stops and says, you know, that's actually a beautiful story right there, or I resonate with that. So it's really a beautiful thing to see now that where everybody is being accepted. I know some people probably do feel insensitive. Like there are some insensitive people out there that'll be like, well, why do I care about this or why do I care about that? But for even more people, I do care about this. I do care about that. So yeah, that's really the direction that we really start going to, and I really do love that because, especially from a youth perspective, there's probably a lot of kids who probably, especially teenagers, you know, teenagers are always the ones who have the most mindset conflict and whatnot.
Yeah.
This might be the thing for them where it's like, okay, like, you know, this person, especially older person, is saying this. I feel comfortable doing this, or I feel comfortable identifying as this. I feel comfortable accepting this about myself. And yeah, and that's actually what this platform is all about, really. Because it's one thing that I know for fitness, like I said, everybody's always going to speak about their story because that's what it's about. But for entrepreneurs, such as yesterday, I had a bartender and a hairstylist. How often do you hear about a bartender telling their story, a hairstylist telling her story? Especially for the bartender, he has like a group of bottle girls. Like he has a bottle girls group, and it's like, how many girls do you know that would publicly say, yeah, you know, I'm a bottle girl on the weekend? A lot of girls wouldn't because society kind of made it uncomfortable for them to say, like, you know, I'm a hookah girl, I'm a bottle girl, because we kind of look at it like, you know, it's inappropriate, it's this, it's that. But now, in this age of acceptance and social media and stuff like that, girls say, hey, I'm a bottle girl. I mean, even OnlyFans, right? Girls brag about OnlyFans. These are girls who used to cry when a guy would leak their pictures. Now girls are like, hey, it's $10 if you want to see me, like, you know.
Yeah, that's
But,
crazy.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, to a certain extent, like these guys like paying for that, but you know, I'm just like, I mean, for the chick, yeah, that, I mean, make your money, but for the guys on that part, it's like, nah, man, you got to be stronger. Like, dude, like, get jacked, like, get strong, get that mindset right, and then just go out and approach people. Like, I went, all right, recently, so I went to Barnes & Nobles. I grabbed my laptop and, you know, just to do work and stuff. So I pull up, and in Barnes & Nobles, there's the little Starbucks. You could get, like, coffees, and I thought they had food. But they were like, nah, we don't. Like, I wanted a smoothie. So they're like, tropical smoothie next door. So I'm like, all right, dope. This wasn't the spot that I was supposed to be at, basically. So I go next door. I pull up, and the girl behind the counter, she's got mad energy. She's like, okay, like, I see you with the tats. I'm actually wearing this shirt while I'm in there. I got, like, the nice loafers on. I don't got them on right now. Like, jeans, like, sick-ass outfit. And she just ended her shift after I ordered my food, and I just coached her for an hour, just giving her what exactly has worked for me along my journey and everything so far. And she was 24, but she had her own vices and like just messed up to the extent of what she was trying to do. Even in a relationship, she was trying to help the person, but I was like, how are you going to help that person if you have not helped yourself first? You know, like, that was a big thing for her. And she was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, and then she was like, how are you doing this at such a young age? Like, you're 23. And I was like, because I just did what I needed to do. Like, I had to create that individual that aligned with my 10.0 self that I wanted it to be. Like, I mapped it all out. And I saw that. A lot of people, they don't take the time because they say they're busy. That's just an excuse in my book. And it's like, take the time to go work on yourself. Go take the time to say, hey, like, I'm not it. Like, I need to get better. Like, self-mastery starts with self-honesty. So looking so hard in the mirror and saying, okay, I'm missing here. I got weaknesses here. Like with me recently, I was like, I'm so strong, like physically in terms of like my habits and my discipline, my mindset, my physique, like ripped, you know, muscle on me and all that stuff. But like, I'm like, damn, my finances, like I did my taxes. I'm like, damn, like for the business, I was doing some side work on top of that. So it was, you know, it added up, but I was like, dude, this is terrible. I'm like, I need to make a lot more, man. So I went back to the mirror. It was the same thing on this date. I looked so hard in the mirror and I was like, I need to get better. And that's exactly what I told her. I was like, you need to go and look in the mirror and just go focus on making the best you. And a lot of people, they're just, they're running away from the problems instead of running right into them. And they should be just running right into them, but that's uncomfortable. That's where the growth happens. That's where it gets nasty and gritty on purpose. But you know, on the other side, the results, oh my God, it's going to be just life-changing. It's going to be just so, just compared to everybody else that's not going to do it, you're going to be so massively ahead because of it. And you're going to see life just through another lens. Life is all about perspective. So if you see it only through one lens and it's not a good one, again, start with self, change yourself, focus on those habits every single day to create the best you and go give that person to the world.
Yeah. So any final words you'd like to add to wrap up? Future plans, anything like that?
Definitely. I mean, it's with my coaching, like definitely just keep blowing that up. My music as well, because that's what I do on the track. It's just another form of expression of myself that I'm doing. I'm not talking about like, you know, messing with women or like, you know, like just having sex or whatnot or what, like, no. I'm talking about, again, what has worked for me, like, you know, just the people around me, like, you know, dropping all these wisdom, all this stuff on purpose on the tracks as well. Plus the coaching, keep growing that and just helping more people, honestly, at the end of the day. And never being satisfied. Also, I would say like not being so reactive and being more proactive. That's the third trait, by the way, of a hyper successful person. So, yeah, that's a big thing. And yeah, just keep growing as a person as well and keep learning. Cause I know, yes, I'm massively ahead at 23, but I don't want to mix ego in the mix of, yeah, I'm totally fine. Like that complacency once again. So that's definitely with me and, expanding my vision with, again, the more of top quality people that already have what I desire and get around them more and not waste my time with people who are just gonna like, just take my money just for the sake of it. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm only gonna get to the top and I'm only gonna stay at the top because I'm already it. You know what I'm saying? Like with my habits and my discipline. But like, if I go to somebody who's like middle, you know, with the results, I'm gonna get middle or like a little bit of their results. So I'm like, I'm just gonna cut the whole learning curve. So more investments into myself, once again, and just being the best me. And again, just giving the man that I admire in all ways and just giving that person to the world, like becoming the source of what I seek all around.
Yeah. So let everybody know where they also like reach you at if they want to do a consultation with you, if they want to just follow you, if they want to, even the music. I didn't even know you did music.
Yeah.
So I gotta check out your music as well. But yeah, like let them know all platforms that you could
Definitely.
reach you on.
So nickdrivasfit on all platforms. That's going to be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not really that active as I used to be. But the main two are just Instagram and YouTube. nickdrivasfit. And then on there, I got my 2 levels of service you can go. Now I have the mid-level program I got. That's just to get your habits right. Your mindset, fitness, nutrition just dialed. You're on a group call with everybody. You got a whole community, 24/7 access to me plus the group. And then I have my high level, which is more if you're just like, I need that one one-on-one support with Nick. This goes for more like entrepreneurs and business owners as well. And it's the same thing, but you get a custom 10.0 blueprint to map out your life and to create that unbreakable individual in all areas. So that's my 2 levels of service. You can hit me with whatever one you want through the DM, and we get started right then and there. And then with my music, that's still in the works. That's something that I just been journaling so hard about. And I'm like, damn, it's a part of me that's like missing. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this coaching and all this stuff, getting on podcasts. And I'm like, dude, I can like do way more now. Because at first I subtracted everything. And then I started to add more because I had everything I was getting everything so done so quick throughout my days. I was like, dude, I have so much time now. And I was like, this is so much fun. I love doing this. So, and it all mixes, which is the most beautiful thing, because I had to go through all these failures to gain that wisdom and to give to the world. So that's still in the works. I still got to mix them down and all that. And I do everything myself, you know, like I learn and take the time to really do that. So it's just dope how everything works, and it's so universal now. And way back when I was like 17 trying to make YouTube videos and talk about motivation and all that stuff, it wasn't really me. Like now I'm seeing it from that other side, all those results and all that work just being paid off as well. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because one thing I would say too, I like how you said everything goes together, right? One thing I always say is, they say a millionaire has 7 streams of incomes, but people think that means do 7 different things. No, you could do one thing and have 7 different results from it. So just you know, that's just a key gem there for the audience.
That's what it, like, just focus on one thing. Like if you try to do so many things at once, you're gonna get nowhere. Like if you aim everywhere, you're gonna get nowhere. So just focus on that one thing, and then just let that blossom and let that go on to the next thing once you master that one specific thing. Because then you're gonna get so confused and just like, is this like this or that? How do I do? Like, you're not gonna be able to sustain it. And then you're gonna quit and you're gonna crap out. The same thing with my coaching. A lot of guys, they're like, well, this food and that. No. Just eat this, do this workout. They're like, also, oh, like this training program or this specific workout plan. I'm like, no. Just, I know what works. Like, just, you got to have that trust within me. You know, that's a big thing coming into my program too. Like, have that trust, just do everything on my private app, plus the macros and all that, and just apply it. And then keep coming to the calls and just having that accountability, and the discipline will build and build over time, because you're just doing the simple things at first. Like, it's all about the simplicity. Then you can stack as you grow as a person.
Yeah, well, Nick, it was definitely a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We definitely would love to have you here again. Of course.
Hell yeah.
Audience, definitely, you know, put in the comments next time you want to see Nick here.
Yeah.
But yeah, as always, you know, if you're new to the platform, subscribe, check out other content as well. Might find something in there that you like, as well as this episode. And, you know, to our audience already, you know, show love to all of our guests. Nick included. If you want to book a consultation with Nick, he told you where to find him, and definitely let him know who sent you. So just like that, Brees, Nick, we're out.
I'm out. Yeah.